recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I am flying solo today in a sense. Neither Carmela, Chris, or Ben are here with me today, but instead, we have a special guest host. Jeremy Cahnmann is with us here today. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going, Jonathan?
Man, I am glad that you are here. We had a couple of situations this weekend that changed up our recording groups, and you were literally my number 1A alternate. Like, hey, Jeremy, can you back up in case something happens? And you said yes, and I'm so glad that you did.
You know what? Sometimes at the end of your career, you just got to accept a pinch hitting role like Albert Pujols, and that's what I'm doing these days.
I would compare you more to a Trevor Hoffman or a Mariano Rivera. This is more of a save than a pinch hit, I would say.
Then I'll get some coffee, because you know what they say, coffee's for closers.
There you go. All right, so we have some great guests today. First up, James Hoover is with us. Hey, James.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Doing great. Glad to have you here. Wendy Dickerson's with us today. Hey, Wendy.
Hey.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Bing Cow is with us today. Hey, Bing.
How's it going, Jonathan?
Glad that you're here. I want to get to know everybody better. And so I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to start back with Jeremy, and then I'm going to go through this circle again. I want you all to tell me where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself. So, Jeremy, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm originally from the Chicago area, but in December relocated to the Atlanta, Georgia area, which I've grown to love and am enjoying exploring. I run a little trivia company called Brain Bash Trivia in the last year. It's been largely virtual, but I hope to get out there in Atlanta, find some bars, and do some live games soon. But if you're out there and you need some virtual trivia, you can contact me as well. And pretty much trivia and travel and baseball is my life.
I love it. Have you been to a Braves game yet?
I have. I have partial season tickets. I've gone to one game in Atlanta. I'm going again tomorrow to my second game. And I went down to Florida, actually, to Dunedin.
Yeah,
and saw them play the Blue Jays. No, it was regular season because it's the Blue Jays spring training home, and they open the season playing their home games in Florida.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, because they can't play in Toronto because of COVID protocol.
I'm going to write that down, and I'm going to put that in my notes for things to ask a year from now.
Yeah.
Everybody take a note. The Blue Jays played their home games in spring training home because of COVID. All right. Well, it's great to have you here, Jeremy. James, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Yeah, man. Glad to be here. I'm James Hoover from Louisiana originally, moved to Tennessee probably about 9 years ago to go back to school to become an optometrist. After graduation and residency, moved over to Nashville. I've been here for 4 years now. Been loving it so far. Something fun about myself. I have done eye exams now in, I think, at least 5 countries. Ooh. Part of our stuff during school, we can go join a group called SVOSH. It's a Student Volunteers Automatic Service to Humanity. We basically go overseas. We did exams down in Mexico, Belize, Haiti, Colombia, and just giving glasses to the underserved and underprivileged who definitely need any sort of help. And for a primary sense organ like that, being able to do what we can to give somebody some sight is always a good thing for sure. So I got to do that stuff during school. Would love to go back sometime soon. With my new job, I actually have a bit more free time, so maybe trying to do that once the COVID protocols loosen up even more.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a really cool thing. And I know that we don't do a lot of time on intros, but what was your experience in Central America? Well, no, not just Central America, but you were saying in islands too. Was it how significantly different was it for you?
I mean, it's, those types of trips, you don't really, it's something that you're getting Lions Club donations of glasses all from over the country, and you have to read the prescriptions beforehand, see what you can take, what you can't. We can't get exactly too specific with certain prescriptions. Obviously, there's a lot of variance there, but going to Haiti, it was probably 2014. They had dealt with the earthquake a few years before that. And the town we were in, just from Port-au-Prince was probably about maybe a 3-hour drive up into the kind of the mountainous areas and whatnot. I got to serve about 1,000 people there. That small town essentially was a school and a church, and then people that lived around nearby and whatnot. That was kind of it. But if you had anything for them, it was better than nothing. Absolutely. So it's one of the things, you don't necessarily go for the vacation part of it. Stuff you more for service, and you get to learn some stuff along the way, and you see the stuff that's technically easily treatable if you just have the access to the care. And of course, it's if they go too long, you see these types of conditions that nowadays, and you would hope to not see that kind of stuff. Yeah. So.
That's very cool.
It was humbling for sure. You get to see that kind of stuff, makes you really appreciate what you have. And I think I left a bunch of my clothes and shoes there. I was like, look, if anybody can wear a size 14, if there's any Haitians that need some shoes, they can take these and, do what they can. And
that's awesome, man.
Yeah. The flip side, Colombia, it's a little bit more, they were coming in asking for specific things like progressive lenses and that sort of stuff. And these are donation glasses. We do not have that high end stuff. So it's a very different level, but
different.
Still a good time.
Very cool. Well, super glad that you're here. And it's good to get to know you a little bit. Wendy, this is not your first time on. Tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Hi, I'm Wendy Dickerson, and I live in Columbus, Ohio. Right now, I'm a little bit north up in Portage Lakes for the weekend, but I am a chemist. I work for the American Chemical Society for the Chemical Abstracts Division, helping people find chemical information. Something fun about myself, I will say I've been doing, some people in my family have been doing genealogy.
Okay.
And looking back at where part of the family comes from. Mm-hmm. And my great-grandfather came over, and my great-grandmother came to the United States on a boat through Ellis Island. And I knew that they were from a Serbian region, but I wasn't sure which one. And it turns out that they're from a town that is of river pirates.
Oh.
So they were relocated from other parts of the country. So yes, I found out that I'm descended from Serbian river pirates.
That's really cool. Very cool. And by the way,
I don't know if that's...
Wendy, you have one of the most soothing voices of anybody that I know. I swear, you could do voiceovers for so many things. Like, if there's somebody recording a commercial for like a pillow or anything that you want a comforting voice, something that just makes you feel warm, your voice is that voice. It is tremendous.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, and last but not least, Bing, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Hey, so I am a washed-up corporate event planner from Houston, Texas. Given everything that's happened with COVID, basically events have dried up. Something fun about myself, I enjoy running long distances for fun. A couple of years ago, I did the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc race, and this is a 107-mile race that goes around Mont Blanc from France to Italy to Switzerland. And I finished it in about 45 and a half hours with a 5-minute nap in the middle. So definitely enjoy being outdoors and being on the trails.
I don't understand the benefit of the 5-minute nap for 47 hours of running.
It is, it's actually pretty amazing. Just a short break can help you reset your body. And then once you get to the second sunrise, your body is completely rebooted and you're able to go for a lot longer than you think you can. A lot of these races are very mental, and it's amazing what your body can do when you really need to do it.
I would stress that when you say the word "your" in that sentence, that you mean you being not everybody else listening, because my body would not surprise me with what it could do. It's a very predictable outcome. About 200, 300 yards down, it's like, nope, I think I'm done. I think the running is going to stop now. I can't breathe anymore.
Yeah. There are times when your body definitely feels it. This race had like 30,000 feet in elevation gain, and on one of the peaks we got hailed on. So,
God.
physically and mentally, you do have to be able to endure some inconveniences and difficulties.
Well, I'm really glad that you're here today. You're an awesome guy, and I appreciate you filling in at the last minute. We had a situation that we had to change up, and I reached out, and you were available, and I super appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm basically like the pitcher that has to come in cold from the bullpen, so I'm going to need a lot of warm-up time here.
You're the pinch hitter. No, Jeremy's the closer. You're the real pinch hitter here. We got to get our baseball analogies right. All right, so I think it's time for Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
And Chris is going to be played by Jeremy today. All right, Jeremy, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. As we said earlier, I kind of stepped into this role. Unfortunately, Carmela couldn't be here, but I did this Warm It Up, Chris, kind of for her. I don't know if it's I know she lost her grandfather, which is sad. And we all love our grandpas, myself included. I lost mine a while ago. But for this Warm It Up, Chris, I'm going to give you the name of an actor who has portrayed a beloved grandfather on a TV series or movie. I will also give you the years of the TV series or the year the movie was released, and maybe some additional information for the tougher ones. All you got to do is tell me either the TV show or film or the name of the grandfather they played.
Very
so we're going to start out.
And before you go on, definitely our hearts go out to Carmela this week. You guys have heard the stories of Nono, and through the years here, we've gotten to know him through her. And she lost him this week. And so it's very sad. And Carmela, we love you. We're thinking about you right now. And we're hoping that this time and this grief passes quickly and that you're back up and able to join us again soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm going to start out. I'm going to go Wendy, Bing, James, Jonathan, okay?
Cool.
And we're going to start out with some TV grandpas. So, Wendy, this is a voice role. Dan Castellaneta has voiced this TV grandfather since 1989.
So... animated 1989. I don't know. It's probably something very obvious.
Animated since 1989. So
I'm thinking Simpsons, right?
Well, you're thinking right.
But I don't know any of the characters.
Well, you just had to name the show.
You just got to name the show.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, show or character, either way.
Okay.
His name's Abe, isn't it?
His name is Abe, and Grandpa Simpson would have worked as well, but The Simpsons is correct. All right. Well done. You're 1 for 1. Let's carry it on. Bing. Peter Boyle played this TV grandpa from 1995 to 2006. On what show or name him?
Peter Boyle, 95 to 2006, so 11, 12 years.
I don't know who Peter Boyle is too, Bing.
I don't either. What has he been in? We always play this game.
I don't even know what he looks like.
I believe he won. Well, have you seen Young Frankenstein?
Yes.
No.
He played the monster in Young Frankenstein.
Oh, okay. Now you locked it in for me. Okay, very cool.
And I believe he won an Emmy Award for this role as well. It's a popular show. Everybody loves this show.
Then I'm gonna guess Everybody Loves Raymond.
That would be the show. Yeah, he played Frank Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Okay.
That was well done. That was really great.
All right, James, for you, I'm going to give you Lawrence Fishburn. He has played this beloved TV grandfather since 2014 and is still playing him today. There's talk of him getting a spin-off series, his character.
Lawrence Fishburne. You couldn't give me Either of the first two. Okay. Let's see. I'm assuming it's not like Morpheus and the grandkids.
It's not.
They took the orange pill.
Right.
You're a grandpa now.
You said 2014?
Show debuted in 2014. It is still on the air today.
And that would have been when I was in third year. So I was bored studying. TV didn't happen. God. Yeah, I'm going to have to tap, unfortunately.
Anybody want to help him out?
I think it's going to be Blackish.
It is Blackish.
Cool.
He is Pops Johnson on Black. Yeah.
He makes for a great grandpa too. At this point in his career, he's an ideal kind of grandpa looking figure at this point. It's really great.
All right. For number 4, Jonathan, sticking with TV grandpas, George Segal started playing this TV grandfather in 2013. The show is still on the air, but sadly, George Segal passed away earlier this year, so his character will no longer be seen on the series. Name this show or the grandpa he played.
No, yeah, this is not hitting me where I know. Is it Modern Family?
It is not Modern Family.
All right. I don't know the answer. It's not This Is Us, is it?
No, this one is a sitcom that is set in an undefined era, I believe. Nobody knows exactly if it's set in modern day or set in the 80s. Or,
is this the Goldbergs?
It is the Goldbergs.
Okay.
It is the Goldbergs.
Yeah, I thought as soon as you said era, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the Goldbergs. I was just down at Hollywood Studios, and we ate in the ABC commissary, and there was a big poster of it on the wall, which was fresh to mind, and they're all wearing these really atrocious, highly colored and designed sweatpants, and then normal white shirts. And it's like, oh my God, that is the worst of the 80s right there.
All right. We'll go around again. This time we'll do some movie grandfathers. Wendy, I'm going to give you the actor and the year the movie was released. See if you can give me the movie. Wilford Brimley, the guy with the diabetes. In 1985.
In 1985, all I can think of is like Cocoon or something.
You should really just go with your instinct, I think, more.
Cocoon?
That is correct.
Absolutely. He established a Wilford Brimley line in Cocoon.
That is correct, yeah. Where, Wilford Brimley's age in Cocoon now, you look at every actor and see when they pass that threshold, and you're like, wait, that's the same age as Wilford Brimley in Cocoon?
This person looks better than they did when they were 20. Yeah. And he looked like he was 90.
Yeah.
Right, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Bing, we're going to give you a classic here.
Uh-oh.
Jack Albertson in 1971 played this grandfather, or grandpa, I should say.
Oh.
Jack Albertson, 1971. It was based on a popular book. Give me either the grandfather or the name of the film.
Based on a popular book, 1971.
Oh, God, I don't know, Bing.
Can I even name a movie from 1971? Let's see.
I will say this. The movie was remade with a similar but different title relatively recently.
Something like Mad Max?
The old grandpa's in Mad Max.
He's
got wielding a chain and spinning it around. Sit down, kids!
I got nothing.
This one's a pretty sweet movie.
Sweet movie. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Well, that would be the remake. The 1971 film was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That is Grandpa Joe.
Good job, Bing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grandpa, that whole premise of these grandparents all laying in bed for 20 years, and then he gets up and starts dancing. What kind of mooch was he? Oh my God.
You could walk this whole time?
Loved him, though. Great character.
I loved that movie, too. Speaking of classic films, James, here's one for you.
Sure.
Peter Falk in 1987 played this grandpa. I do need the movie because the grandpa didn't have a name. He was just called Grandpa in the movie. But he also narrated the film.
Oh.
You got this.
Yeah. 87. That's grandpa keep telling the story. That's Princess Bride, isn't it?
Yes.
It would be inconceivable if it was anything else.
Right.
It is, in fact, the Princess Bride.
It's such a small part, but it's such a great role. I really love him in that movie.
Absolutely. All right, Jonathan, we're going to give you my next film grandpa here. Johnny Knoxville in 2013 in what Academy Award nominated film?
Johnny Knoxville was a grandpa in a movie?
In an Academy Award nominated film.
No, I'm nowhere close to this. Johnny Knoxville. The only thing I've seen Johnny Knoxville, I'm not a Johnny Knoxville guy. I never watched Jackass. I never watched anything he did. The only movie appearance that I know he was in was Men in Black.
This is not a very good movie.
What is it?
It's a very bad movie.
That's a clue, and I don't know it either. No, I don't
James
know.
knows it.
What do you got, James? Help me out. I'm going to tag you in.
If he's not good, it's probably a bad grandpa, right?
It is Bad Grandpa.
Yeah. Oh, I've never heard of it.
It was nominated for hair and makeup at the Academy Awards because they made Johnny Knoxville look like a very convincing old man named Irving Zisman, who is Bad Grandpa. All right. Wendy, you want to go TV show or movie for the third time around?
Movies.
All right.
You're the only one who's 2 for 2, by the way.
Yeah, you're 2 for 2.
You're the one dominating.
Lucky guesses.
I'm going to give you Alan Arkin in 2006 in a delightful family romp. What was also an Academy Award nominated film? Name the movie or the grandpa.
Family, 2006. I don't think I can't even come up with anything in that time period. Although I have a feeling I'll know it when you tell me, but I can't come up with it.
Well, he did win the Academy Award for it. It was an Academy Award winning role for Best Supporting Actor.
I don't know either.
No, that doesn't help me, unfortunately.
Had a precocious little girl as his granddaughter. She was the title character.
Little Miss Sunshine?
That would be it.
Oh, Wendy, good job.
I had to get lots of hints in there.
See, you did better than me.
Here's the thing I've determined is Wendy's first instinct when she gets one has been right every time. And every time you have doubted yourself. So I'm just going to say trust yourself more. You are clearly smarter than you give yourself credit for. I mean, All right. Bing, movie or TV show?
How about 80s TV?
80s TV. All right.
I didn't know we could make requests.
Yeah.
I happen to have one 80s TV grandpa for you. So this one is Earl Hyman from 1984 to 1992. On what show? What show?
Earl Hyman.
Groundbreaking show, I'll say. 1984 to 1992. Earl Hyman was the grandfather. He wasn't a regular, but he was a recurring character on what groundbreaking show?
Groundbreaking show. What are you breaking ground in? Some sort of Undertaker show?
When I say groundbreaking, I don't mean literally breaking the ground. I mean,
okay. I didn't know if that was a hint.
It's a farming show. It's Little House on the Prairie.
It's a hint in that it is the show broke some barriers that,
84 to 92. Sitcom?
Yep.
I don't think I know this one. Not
very popular in its day. Sadly, might not be as popular anymore.
Cosby Show?
He was, in fact, Russell Huxtable on the Cosby Show.
Good job, Bing.
Lucky guess.
James, TV or movie?
Let's go movie.
All righty. Gene Hackman in 2001 played this title character and grandfather in a quirky comedy.
Thanks to my roommate for his love of Wes Anderson films. This is Royal Tenenbaums, right?
He played Royal Tenenbaum in the Royal Tenenbaums. That is correct. Yep.
Awesome.
All right, Jonathan, movie or TV show?
I'm going to go with movie. I'm hoping for the best.
All right. We're going to give you Richard Attenborough in a 1993 blockbuster.
Jurassic Park.
He was John Hammond in Jurassic Park.
We recently, I don't know where it was recently that I had a David Attenborough. Actually, it might have been on a TW recording that's coming up soon. The answer we were looking for was David Attenborough, and my partner was saying Richard Attenborough. And so it came out that Richard was his brother and was the grandpa in Jurassic Park. So that's why I knew it so quick.
All right. Want to go one more time around? Or
yeah, we got one more in us, I think. Everybody else is like,
go one more time around.
But I like this. This is a tribute to grandpas everywhere.
Wendy, let's see if you can go 4 for 4, get them all. I'm going to give you a classic TV show. It ran from 1972. Will Greer played the grandfather until 1978. The show went a little longer, but the actor Will Greer unfortunately passed away and could no longer play the grandfather on this beloved family show from the 70s.
Okay, I can see Will Greer in my head. I don't know that I saw the show, family show, 1970, early 70s. Oh, come on. I don't have it.
Is it gonna be like a All in the Family or a Maude or something like that, Wendy? Is that
This was a not quite as much of a comedy. Not necessarily a drama either. I mean, it's just a family show is really the way I would say it. Takes place on a mountain.
Oh, the Waltons. Of course.
He was Grandpa Zeb Walton.
Oh,
yep.
great job.
Yep. I can see it. Okay.
Yep. All righty. Bing, we're going to give you another TV show, another classic show, Al Lewis from 1964 to 1966.
Now, this one I think I could help with.
Al Lewis, 64 to 66, only 2 years.
Mm-hmm. But it's a show that has lived on.
It has lived on.
He did reprise the role, I think, in a TV film, and they've made films with other people playing this grandfather as well, or at least one.
Did he also appear on the show Car 54, Where Are You?
He did, in fact, yes. Yeah.
That is probably not going to help me here.
I got to ask a Car 54, Where Are You question someday.
Yeah.
What's from back then? I would be lucky if I can hit the right time frame. Something like Green Acres?
Well, what if I gave you the address the family lived at? It was 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
That sounds familiar. 13 Mockingbird Lane. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this one.
Wendy, you want to help him out?
Is it the Munsters?
It is the Munsters. That is Grandpa Munster.
It's him, Al Lewis and Fred Gwynn were a great pairing.
Yes.
They came from Car 54, Where Are You? And jumped into the Munsters together, and they're just wonderful together.
Yep. All right. We're going to give you, James, we're going to give you another TV grandpa, Edward Herman, not Herman Munster, but Edward Herman from 2000 to 2007 played this TV grandfather. His wife was one of the 3 title characters. Sadly, Edward Herman passed away and could not be a part of the revival.
Oh my gosh, the revival.
Did a Netflix revival. Bing clearly knows this, by the way.
Yeah. I'm watching his face like, oh, come on.
Is this a Cahnmann wheelhouse question?
It is. Yes.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
This is probably one of those shows that my girlfriend wants me to watch at some point.
And you should. It's a wonderful show.
Okay.
It may not age well, though.
Yeah, I mean, no shows do anymore, but,
So Arrested Development came back, but I'm pretty sure that had the same actor. Gilmore Girls? Would that be it?
That would be it. It was Richard Gilmore on Gilmore. Oh, nice.
Great job.
Oh, well done. Yeah. Richard Gilmore on Gilmore Girls.
Nice.
All right. Jonathan, we're going to give you another voice role. So the people, until I get to the last one, are not going to help you a lot, I think. And the last one may not either, but the years may help. So David Doyle voiced this animated grandfather from 1991 to 1997. Joe Alasky took over the voice role from 1998 to 2008. They are going to reboot this series later this year. It's not out yet, but Michael McKean is going to voice this grandfather in the reboot of this popular 90s animated show in which the adults took a secondary role.
From 91 to 97 and from 98 to 2008. So this thing ran consistently from 1991, 2008, and the adults took... Is it... This could be like way wrong. Is it something like Rugrats?
Not something like Rugrats.
Is it
is
Rugrats?
In fact Rugrats.
Holy
it is
crap,
Grandpa
what a guess.
Lou
I'm
on
excited.
Rugrats. Yeah.
Very cool. I was trying to think what kind of cartoon, because that's Simpsons territory starting way back then, and I couldn't think of another one that lasted that long in that era. So I went away from mainstream like network TV. Oh, that was fun. And that is your warm it up, Chris. Great job, Jeremy. That was a lot of fun. And salute to grandpas everywhere.
That was fun.
Yes.
All right. So this is going to be episode number 324. We are on the main feed. Big shout out to everybody listening. Thank you. And a special shout out to our patrons. You folks are the reason that we are here. We try and do everything we can for you. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to be a patron of the show, you can unlock over 200 episodes from our past. And I'm telling you, there is some great stuff out there, as well as get a new episode every 2 weeks that you can't get anywhere else. Go to trivialwarfarearmy.com and sign up as a $5 a month patron or above to get access to all kinds of awesome stuff. Today's game, it's going to be Bing and James versus Jonathan and Wendy. Jeremy is hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
All right, Jeremy, take it away.
Let's do this. All right, folks. For those that have heard me host before and those that are playing the game, you may know that I like to write things that tie together some way. So this game is no different. So whether you're playing at home or playing the game live right now, you're going to want to look for the connections, and the connections will be with all the answers somehow. Something in all the answers will connect together. By the end of the episode, hopefully you'll have figured it out, or I will just tell you at the end of the episode. But the quicker you figure it out, maybe the easier it is to figure out some of the answers. So round 1, 3 questions. This is just a general trivia round. Question 1, this happened a long way from Wyoming. And the question is, on April 28th, 1789, a mutiny occurred aboard the HMS Bounty when Captain William Bligh was relieved of his command. What acting lieutenant led this famous mutiny?
Oh man, I was ready to give you the mutiny, and then I was ready to give you Captain Bligh, and God bless it. Jeremy, for the sake of understanding how far we need to dig, is first name acceptable in this case, or do you need a full name or a last name?
I would take either one here.
Okay, we're going to lock in over here.
Okay, cool. So Wendy threw out a great word, and we're just trying to figure out how it fits any clues, but we can't, right? She came up with the word Christian as somebody's name, and we couldn't remember. That felt right, and I think it's the first name, but I can't remember a last name. Maybe it's the last name, Wendy.
Well, I'm thinking Mr. Christian, but I'm thinking it's a different story or a different event.
I mean, it could be.
I'd have no thunder on that at all.
And then we think about Wyoming, and the capital of Wyoming is Cheyenne. You brought up Laramie. I brought up the Rocky Mountains. And there's other national parks and stuff up there, right? Pikes Peak is not. That's Colorado, but I can't think of the national parks up there.
I don't have anything else.
I think we're going to lock in with Christian then. That's the best we have.
You think that, or Cheyenne?
I don't think it's Cheyenne. If it is, then that's on me, and I apologize. But I don't remember that story having a Cheyenne in it.
I don't either, but
Is Christian from Treasure Island? Is Christian his second mate or first mate in Treasure Island? You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and answer Christian then.
Okay.
All right, we're locking in with Christian. Bing and James, what were you thinking?
I've heard the story. I didn't have a clue as far as who was the person who led it. Bing, you threw out a message in our chat of, one or the other.
So I have no in from this from the actual question standpoint, but from the category of this was a long way from Wyoming, throughout Laramie and Cheyenne also. And so we decided to lock in with Cheyenne.
Yeah, sounded good to me, man.
Well, one team will be getting points on this one. And Wendy, you need to have more thunder. Because yet again, you had an instinct, and your instinct is correct. It is, in fact, Fletcher Christian.
Fletcher Christian.
Yes. Is the name of the man who led that mutiny. All right, so we got 10-0 after one.
What was the clue with Wyoming there?
I'm going to let you figure all that stuff out as we go along.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Metagame, folks. Metagame. I love it. I ran across the word metagaming the other day, and I've heard it a bunch of times, but it just struck me for the first time. I don't know why, but what we've called game theory for years, what we're really talking about is metagaming.
Yeah.
It's like figuring out the game outside of the game, coming up with answers outside of the rules or the details of the game. And so that's the appropriate word for everybody who's tried to correct us over the years. Mea culpa. It's metagaming.
Question number 2, round 1. This guy's no Steve King. Your question is, in 1999, 5 years after his death, the novel Juneteenth was published. It is the second published novel from what man, whose debut novel in 1952 is considered one of the best books of the 20th century, even though you may never have seen it?
I think we're good to go ahead and lock in.
Okay, so the category, Wendy, was no Stephen King or Steve King, so it's literature. It's maybe horror based, kind of, possibly, but not necessarily. The immediate answer that came to me because of the "you may not have seen it" bit of the question could be that he's talking about Ralph Ellison, because his novel that we all know is Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And Invisible Man is one of the best books of the 20th century based on all accounts. So, and Ralph Ellison is the kind of person, I think, based on Invisible Man, that could write about Juneteenth. So that's what I came up with.
And all of that makes great sense to me. I'm really comfortable with that. So,
all right, cool. Then we'll go ahead and look
at
Ellison then. Bing and James.
Yeah, kind of the same thought process there. We had gone through everything I remember hearing a podcast about some prolific authors of the 20th century, and I remembered hearing about Invisible Man, and I want to say that this was, again, like you mentioned, I think they published this after he had passed. So yeah, we locked in with Ralph Ellison.
And both teams picking up points, both teams on the board. Well done. Ooh. It is Ralph Ellison, who, of course, wrote The Invisible Man. All right. General Trivia Round 1. Question 3. The category is the emo Justin Timberlake. I want you to identify this famous musician. I'm going to give you a little bit of his biography. He is best known as a rock star, but he's dabbled in many things. He was born in 1979 and grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. His parents actually met while working on the Senate campaign of a young Joe Biden. His mother is of African and Jamaican descent, and his maternal grandfather was the U.S. ambassador to Sierra Leone and is a cousin of Colin Powell. Besides his musical career, he has dabbled in acting, appearing in such shows as One Tree Hill and Californication. He's written books and comic books, runs a production company, owns a bar, hosts a reality show for tattoo artists, and he's been married twice, once to a famous singer. They have a son, Bronx, and he has got 2 children with his current wife, Megan, a son, Saint, and a daughter, Marvel.
Holy crap.
That's a lot.
So much question. This is a renaissance man.
What was the category again?
Emo Justin Timberlake.
The emo Justin Timberlake, yes.
My God, this is so much information for me not to come up with anything.
I know, that's how I feel. Yeah.
You guys want the extra info?
Depends on whether you think your game's going to play hard or easy. If the whole game's going to be challenging, then yes. If you think it eases up, then no.
It all depends on if you pick up. I'll give it to you. On top of everything else I gave you, this man donates time and money to raising awareness about mental health and suicide prevention, as he has himself been diagnosed as bipolar. And some have credited and or blamed him for launching the career of the Kardashians, as Kim Kardashian and him shared a kiss in a music video before she was very famous.
God, that should be enough. It's a great question. There's so much there. It's going to be one of those, wow, we are just not good at this.
I'm sure people that are going to be listening will know, like, there's some giveaways in the, in the question
God,
that people will just be
for
like,
sure.
Oh, I feel very not smart.
Every name I come up with is not a rock star, you know? Every single one of them is not a rock star.
Well, we have hit the 5-minute mark at
All
this
right,
point.
guys, we have 30 seconds to lock in whatever answer we're going to lock in, and there's not going to be any talking or anything afterwards. Let's go with the second one.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's go with the second one. It's wrong,
right.
but it's okay. All right,
Bing
we're
and
going to lock
James,
in.
what do you guys got, Bing and James? Let me...
There's a bag of nothing somewhere around here.
No, it's in a jar. We put our nothing in a jar.
Yeah.
There's so many clues in this question to go into our bag of nothing. And
so do you have an answer?
Apparently not. It doesn't sound like it. All right.
I mentioned potentially at Levine. I don't know, just the last name.
We'll go with Levine. And
right.
Jonathan, what did you guys lock in with?
We're
Jonathan and Wendy?
in with West. We had a really useless conversation where the whole bunch of names came up. Our final debate was Childish Gambino or Kanye West. We finally settled on Kanye West.
It's Kanye West, definitely not a rock star, and he didn't launch Kim Kardashian into fame. Though you're actually pretty close. The answer is not West, but Wentz, as in Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy, is the rock star we are looking for here.
I didn't even get there.
He's not even.
Close.
Is he the singer or the bassist?
I believe he's the bassist, but he's the one that kissed Kim Kardashian in the Thanks for the Memories video.
I don't know
and
anything
Ashley
about them.
Simpson and him have a son named Bronx Mulgui, which that I actually thought might be the one that gave it to you, was that he had a son named Bronx with a famous singer.
There's a lot of people that are getting that right.
Yeah.
The four of us just happen to be not
None
one
of them are on this call.
Yeah, that's not on you. That's a good question. At the end of the first round, the score is 20-10. Wendy and Jonathan have a 10-point lead.
Well, let's go to round two. Round two is called Think About the Clink. Think About the Clink. And your round two question one category is this guy's no Scotty Too Hottie. This guy's no Scotty Too Hottie. It's a wrestling question for you. Edward Harrison Leslie was born in 1957 and inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2019. He held 9 titles in his wrestling career, most notably the WWE Tag Team Championship, which he shared with Greg Valentine as part of the Dream Team in the mid-'80s. Leslie got his best-known nickname when he helped Roddy Piper defeat adorable Adrian Adonis at WrestleMania 3. By what name do wrestling fans best know Edward Harrison Leslie?
If anybody should get this, it should be me, Wendy. And
yes.
Yeah. And the problem that I'm having is the person who seems to fit. I wouldn't have said that their biggest title was a tag team title.
I only know like really famous.
Yeah, no,
wrestlers.
this isn't going to be this isn't even going to be somebody who held the championship, the big one. Here's what we're going to go with, and if it's wrong, it's probably wrong, but it's the best that we're going to do. Do you want to go with? Can we go with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
All right, we're gonna lock in.
Thanks.
All right, Bing and James, you want to talk it out? Go right ahead.
Well,
James looks like he's got a whole lot of nothing on.
so neither of us are big wrestling fans, and so we're throwing out ideas as to how someone would have gotten a nickname from helping out in a match. So I was thinking about some implement that he may have used, something like a chair, table, or ladder. So that's when James suggested maybe something like a snake, or he was a heel, and so we came up with maybe Jake the Snake, and so that's what we're locking in with.
All right, Jonathan, what did you guys finish up?
Initially, when you say 80s Greg the Hammer Valentine, the first person that comes to my mind is the Honky Tonk Man, because they did a lot of stuff together under manager Jimmy Hart, but he was a very long-term Intercontinental Champion, and that's a higher-ranking title than a tag team champion. And so it's like, I know this is wrong, but nothing's coming to mind. And then I don't know this match in WrestleMania 3. It's been a long time since I've seen anything in 3. But the opponent was adorable somebody, and so you're likely to be doing something to make them less adorable. And that led me to hair cutting, and that led me to Brutus the Barber Beefcake, who never held the Intercontinental title.
And this is why I'm so glad Jonathan's my partner.
Well, I don't know that it's right, but that's where I got to.
Well, Brutus the Barber Beefcake famously lost his chance at the Intercontinental title when he wrestled the Honky Tonk Man. That was the closest he got to it. But he did hold the tag team title with Greg the Hammer Valentine, and he is the one that sheared the hair of adorable Adrian Adonis after he helped Roddy Piper defeat him at WrestleMania 3. And it is Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So you will be picking up 10 points there, Jonathan and Wendy. Well done.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
I know that's a niche
Great,
question.
Jonathan.
I know that's niche, and I know that everybody out there is like, oh, God. But I got to tell you, from the perspective of me having to really dig deep to figure out that answer, that feels really good.
Yeah, that is definitely something that is in like your and my wheelhouse, Jonathan, as like growing up in the 80s, you know, like WrestleMania 3, like that was like the WrestleMania that I will remember every match basically forever. Well, let's go to question number 2. So question number 2, the title is All That Matters. The title is All That Matters. In 1945, Mel Torme and Robert Wells wrote what they called the Christmas song, which has since become a much-loved holiday tune, but is often referred to by a different title, which is just the first line of the song. What is the first line and oft-used title of the song, whose last lines are as follows? And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92, although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, so, Wendy, I think we can lock in then, because I think you're good. I think you're right, and I think we should do it.
Okay, I will try to have a little more confidence in my answers, and we can go with that.
All right. We're going to lock in.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's one of those ones, you know the lyrics, and it's just a matter of trying to place the song and that sort of thing. And of course, just trying to hear it in my head and whatnot, since it's, of course, now 5 months past when I would have been hearing this last time. We were going back and forth on a few different things, thinking maybe it may have been like White Christmas, one of those, but at the same time, wasn't quite sure about that. And then I think just sitting there humming it in my head, I messaged Bing, wondering if this is the one that leads off with chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, and then like blah 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 blah. Merry Christmas. I really think it's
now that
anyways, Merry Christmas to you. So I think this is chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
I like it. Now that you've sung it, it makes way more sense. I can hear it much better than typing it over text. So
also, I was told there'd be no singing. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, we do a lot of singing on this show.
Yeah. All right, so you're locking in with that?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Jonathan and Wendy, what did you guys lock in with?
I had to send Wendy a reminder because when Bing says, I really think it's White Christmas, she does this.
No,
No,
sorry.
don't do that.
It's so hard not to react.
Yeah, so I was able to sing the last line a little bit because it was pretty familiar, and then she was able to, she sent right after that the first line, which I think she sent before she heard mine, and we locked in with chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose. That is correct.
Yeah,
Both of
good
you
job,
getting
Wendy.
points. Here we go with round 2, question 3. Your category is Ain't Nothing Like a Dane. Ain't Nothing Like a Dane. Debuting in 1940 as the Cat, what is the most often used alter ego of the anti-hero known as Catwoman? Debuting in 1940 as the Cat, what is the most often used alter ego of the anti-hero known as Catwoman?
I have meow meows, Wendy.
I just saw what you wrote, and that is good.
Meow meows is a perfect question.
We're locked in.
We texted each other with Selena Kyle, so that's what we're going with. We're locking that in.
And what were your meow meows, Jonathan?
Catwoman's name is Selena Kyle, so that is what we wrote as well.
You are both correct and both picking up the points. And where do we stand after round 2?
At the end of round 2, the score is 50-30. Wendy and Jonathan have the lead.
Round 3. Round 3 is Vindman has been vindicated. Vindman has been vindicated. And your first category is Bryan Cranston should play this guy in the movie. Born in New York in 1902, but most closely associated with the city of Baltimore, what American poet was known for his whimsical rhymes and witty puns, and once referred to as America's best-known producer of humorous poetry?
That is not where I thought you were going. Okay, we're going to lock in.
Well, we still have a bag of nothing.
Yeah. So far, we've been talking back and forth. We're thinking we may have an in on the potential overarching theme. That's what we're trying to apply it to now, because this question's not really hitting anything for me. But I'm just trying to think of potential names that might also fit that. You know, he threw out like Hughes and Cummings, Frost, Whitman. I don't have anything much better than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, out of all these names, I don't love any of these names, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just we'll throw out Hughes as a swag.
Yeah, that works for me, man.
Lock in with Hughes?
Lock in with Hughes.
Wendy and Jonathan?
So I pointed out that the category was Bryan Cranston should play this person. I didn't know the answer. I pointed out that Cranston played Walter White on Breaking Bad. And then, Wendy, you had a response to that almost immediately.
Well, that made me think of Walt Whitman.
Right.
And then you said, well, 1902. And then I'm like, well, I still think it could fit, but I don't have firm time frame around Walt Whitman.
I don't either.
But
I know he wrote about Lincoln. So I thought that was present day. I didn't think that was looking back.
Well, what'd you lock in with?
We locked in with Walt Whitman.
All right.
Yep.
Well, unfortunately, neither team picking up points here. We are looking for Ogden Nash. Nash.
Oh, okay.
That's who we're looking for here.
All right.
Round 3, question 2. Category is, I love you, Philip Morris, but this place is a dump. I love you, Philip Morris, but this place is a dump. Fred and Lamont were the first names of the 2 title characters of what classic Norman Lear sitcom that ran for 6 seasons and was a remake of a British show?
I've got all the meow meows, Wendy.
Me too.
All right, we're going to lock in.
This sounds like Sanford and Son to me. I'm not sure about this. Philip Morris, the cigarette guy, right? Or
yeah, I said no. I don't really. The clue's not helping with that, but yeah, I do agree. I think it is Sanford and Son. That seems about the right time frame, if anything.
Yeah, Fred Sanford, Lamont Sanford. I have no idea what the show is based on. Didn't realize it was based on a British show. I don't have anything better. It feels right.
I agree. I think Sanford and Son works for me, man. Let's do that. Let's
go with it. This is going to be one of my 2-finger swags at OQL that Jonathan hates, because we're going to lock in with Sanford and Son.
Jonathan and Wendy, you guys want to tell them if they're right or not?
It's funny. I told you guys before he came on that whenever Bing gets one right, he's never confident about it. He just did it again because the answer is definitely Sanford and Son.
Yes.
Good
Based
job,
on a
man.
BBC show known as Steptoe and Son.
Yep.
But it is Sanford and Son. All righty. Last question of round 3 before the half. Madison, Monroe are the only 2 James that have done it. Who was the most recent president to have also served as a cabinet secretary, having served as Secretary of Commerce for 2 different presidents?
I think we're going to go ahead and lock in.
All right. Jonathan and Wendy talk it out this time.
So, Wendy, I wrote down presidents, right? I don't think it's Biden because he was a senator. It definitely wasn't Trump. It wasn't Obama. It wasn't Bush. It wasn't Clinton. It wasn't Bush. It could have been the first Bush, but he was a CIA guy, so I don't think so.
Right.
It wasn't Reagan. It wasn't Carter. I don't think it would be Ford or Nixon or Johnson. Maybe Johnson, but I don't think so.
And it's Kennedy. So I was going back.
And it's not Eisenhower. Truman couldn't have done it for 2 presidents because he only had 1 president his whole adult life. So it's before FDR based on that, unless it was FDR, which it could have been, because it would have been under Hoover and Coolidge, or Hoover, Coolidge, or Harding. No, Hoover
and I thought
was a Republican.
Coolidge, but okay.
Hoover was a Republican. Harding and Coolidge might have been. Were they Democrats or Republicans?
Ooh, I don't know.
Harding would have been right after Wilson. If they were Democrats, FDR was a Democrat. He could have been serving under Harding when he died and then been under Coolidge just because you had the transfer of power. It's either that or the other name that I was coming up with was Hoover himself, because all of the infrastructure projects that he's known for being a part of, that could have been a commerce thing. And that could have been like a reason to bring him on as president, or that could have been like, hey, I'm great at the economy, bring me on.
I wish I knew more about FDR's earlier career, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't. I
like Hoover as a guess.
Yeah, I think it's one of those 2.
I thought Coolidge just because of his background, but
what's his background?
Academic.
Okay.
But I don't know his earlier history either.
I like FDR from the 2 presidents in 1 term situation. For Hoover, knowing that he's a Republican, if Coolidge, Harding, and Wilson were all Democrats, then it would have been hard for him to be a secretary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would have had to go back. And so Taft and Roosevelt were Republicans. I think Wilson and probably Harding and Coolidge would have been Democrats, and then Hoover would have been a Republican. I know that's a fact. So I think it's going to be FDR because of the 2 president situation.
Well, when in doubt, go with a Roosevelt.
All right, well, let's lock that in then. We're going to guess Roosevelt.
We had no clue from the president angle. So we went straight off of your theme angle and started naming presidents that might fit the theme. And we locked in with Hoover.
It's kind of a namesake thing, It worked out well. So.
Well, Harding and Coolidge were both Republicans, not Democrats. So everything about your logic was perfect, Jonathan, other than you had their party wrong. It is Herbert Hoover, who was the Secretary of Commerce under Harding and Coolidge.
That's what we were going to lock in with if they hadn't locked in first. We were about to lock in with Hoover.
Almost.
And we don't know the theme yet.
Well, clearly some people do. All right.
I think Wendy, I think you're right. I think that must be the theme.
Really?
We have hit halftime, by the way.
All right, with a score of 60-50 going into the half, Jonathan and Wendy have a 10-point lead.
Our halftime, again, she isn't with us here today, but our thoughts are with her. This one's for you, Carmela. It is called A Smith by Any Other Name. A Smith by Any Other Name. I'm going to give you 5 really quick descriptions of famous people named Smith. You just need to give me their first names. All right? So we have a woman born in Tennessee known as the Empress of the Blues. We have a man born in Mobile, Alabama, who is a 13 time Gold Glove winner and Baseball Hall of Famer. We have a man born in 1805 in Vermont, best known for an 1829 book, who died in Illinois in 1844.
You got to slow down, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
What was that third one again?
The third one is a man born in Vermont in 1805, best known for a book published in 1829. He died in Illinois in 1844. The book was turned into a very popular Broadway show, by the way. All right. And the last two, one of the longest-serving women in the United States Senate from Maine. She was one of the first people to speak out against Joseph McCarthy, and the first woman to be in serious consideration for a major party presidential nomination. And last but certainly not least, they won a Grammy Award in 2015 and an Academy Award in 2016 and are halfway to a career EGOT. Who are they?
And these are all people named Smith?
All people named Smith. You got about a minute left in the 5.
I think I like that, Wendy.
You ready?
Yes.
All right, we're going to lock in.
All right,
we got
James and
everybody.
Bing, wrap it up in about 30 seconds, or talk it out for the last 30 seconds, and we'll go over the answers.
Well, I don't have anything for this last one when they were trying to think about the author or best known work.
Yeah.
Broadway. I mean, I guess we just throw out a random name. I don't know. So I think we're okay with the other answers. The first answer, James said Bessie. He said that that sounded like someone that was big in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, Tennessee singer. I was like, it's not Dolly Parton Smith. So probably, if not that,
All right.
I've heard of Bessie. So
for the second one, we said Ozzy Smith. If it's not him, I have no idea who it would be, but 13-time Gold Glove sounds like Ozzy Smith to me.
Mm-hmm.
Third one, we have no idea. I guess we'll just randomly guess Robert Smith.
Okay.
Fourth one, James, you had an idea on that one?
yeah, the name Margaret kept popping in my head, and I wasn't sure if that was from listening to Misinformation when they did the whole episode about the McCarthyism, but that kind of triggered something in there, I think. So I'm not sure if it's like a double name, but I'm pretty sure Margaret was the first name.
Shout out to
think it's like
Misinformation. That's very cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Lauren and Julia.
Love Lauren and Julia.
They're awesome.
And number 5?
Number 5, the only singer I can think of that might have won a Grammy is Sam Smith, but I don't know much more about him, so that's who we'll go with there.
All right.
All right.
And Jonathan and Wendy.
We had a lot of the same answers, actually. Wendy came up with Bessie Smith. She wasn't confident, but her lack of confidence is usually a good thing. We definitely locked in with Ozzy Smith. Once again, Wendy suggested Margaret Chase Smith, but we just, Margaret, fine, whatever. I don't know. Don't want to get penalized for a middle name. And I brought thunder on Sam Smith. I think he would have won an Academy Award for the James Bond theme, and then possibly the Grammy as a Best New Artist or something in 2015. And then in the last second, when you were like, you got 10 seconds left, I thought to myself, I've been thinking of musicals, and it occurred to me that it could be Book of Mormon. Joseph Smith came in really early, but it's like Joseph Smith, Utah, not Illinois, but maybe Joseph Smith only got to Illinois and Brigham Young took him all the way to Utah. So he could have written the Book of Mormon, and we said Joseph Smith.
I liked it. It was kind of out of left field from what I was thinking, but I'm like, okay, sounds good.
Well, Bessie Smith is, in fact, the Empress of the Blues. Ozzy Smith, the Wizard of Oz, is, of course, the 13-time Gold Glove winning shortstop. I'm wearing him on my T-shirt right now.
Of course you are.
to nobody's surprise. Margaret Chase Smith was, in fact, the Maine senator, one of the first to speak out against Joseph McCarthy. Joseph Smith did, in fact, write the Book of Mormon in 1829, and he died on his way out to Utah in Illinois in 1844. So that is correct. And the Grammy winner in 2015, Academy Award winner in 2016, I did very intentionally use they. Their preferred pronouns are they and them. And it is, in fact, Sam Smith. So well done. Jonathan and Wendy getting all the points, 5 for 5 for 20 points. And I believe James and Bing were 4 for 5 for 16 points. So we have a score of 80-66, I believe,
at the end
going
of the
in.
Point.
Yeah.
That's one of the most unexpected perfect scores in a midpoint I've ever seen, Wendy. We teamed up really, really well on that.
Yes. I'm so glad we can plug the holes in each other's knowledge.
That was great.
It's great.
All right, everybody, that is the end of the first half. Before we go on to the second half, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp has been a long-time partner with Trivial Warfare because we care about your mental health. And BetterHelp is an online service that assesses your needs and helps to match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can get going with a therapist within 48 hours. It's a safe environment, and it is super convenient. I've talked a lot about BetterHelp already because we've been working with them for months now, and I got to tell you, it is just such a good service. I've been using it myself. In fact, I hadn't talked to my counselor in a few weeks recently, and she reached out to me. She sent me a message. She's like, hey, I wanted to follow up. We hadn't talked in a few weeks. I wanted to check in, see where the status was on the most recent stuff we talked about. Is there anything I can do for you, etc. Right? What I really love about that is it shows that you're able to build a relationship with your counselor through the online technology. Using the face-to-face calls on your computer, it's not a decrease in engagement. In fact, it's an increase in engagement because you're able to message your counselor as much as you want, and they're going to respond to you quickly. It doesn't matter what thing you're struggling with. They have the perfect person for you. Maybe you need help getting over past trauma. Maybe you have anger issues that you're working through. Maybe you just need help sleeping, which is a big deal, right? There is somebody for you at BetterHelp. I've said it a bunch. It's convenient, it's professional, it's affordable. I want you to give this a try today. As a listener, you're going to get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/TWA. You can join over 1 million people. They've already taken charge of their mental health. Now it's your turn. Go to BetterHelp, that's HELP.com/TWA. Give it a try. All right, let's get right into round 4.
Let's do it.
Round 4 is a crunchy round. Question 1 in round 4, the category is Jeremy has spoken in trivia today. Along with his business partner Bill Todman, what man produced shows such as Card Sharks, Password, Family Feud, What's My Line, and Match Game, along with several others? Notable game show producer. Who is he?
All right, we can lock in.
Bing and James?
I threw out the answer of Mark Goodson because it sounds like he's the game show guy that I can think of that matches closely with your question.
That sounds good to me, Bing. I was trying to think about different people and how to fit the clue, whatnot. But I like that. I think Mark Goodson was what we should lock in with.
All right. They're locked in. Jonathan and Wendy.
We also said Goodson really quickly.
Yep.
Fit the question, fit the theme, felt good about it. So we said Goodson.
It is, in fact, a Mark Goodson production. Well done, both teams getting the points.
I can hear that in my head. A Goodson and Todson production. A Goodman and Todson production.
I've never heard the Todman part. I've only ever heard it's a Mark Goodman production. Or Goodson production.
Mark Goodson production, yeah. Goodson, Todman, Mark Goodson production is the more known. But yeah, he's... all right. Sounds like you may have both figured out the connection. Hopefully some of those listening have as well. Question number 2, not even Gary could figure out this puzzle. Born in 1982, this woman has thrice been named to Time magazine's most influential people in the world list. She wasn't born into the spotlight, but has very much been in the public eye for much of this century and made her first appearance on the Time magazine list in 2011. Who is she?
We can lock in, Jeremy.
All right. Bing and James, talk it out.
Yet again, man, this is not my wheelhouse, unfortunately. I'm trying to think of people who would be popular and been listed. You said 3 times since 2011 or 2012?
3 times. 2011 was the first time she appeared on the list.
So she would be about 39 years old right now, born in 1982.
Yeah.
3 times most influential, not born into it. So someone that married into...
Was she born this way? Is it Lady Gaga? Isn't that who does that?
I like that. Isn't Spotlight one of her albums?
Maybe. I would think that makes the most sense to me if you're not born into it, but... And then the question title, not even Gary Middleton. Gary Middleton. Someone's name who used to be Middleton. Wait. Middleton. This isn't the Duchess, Katherine Middleton? No, who's Prince William's wife? Katherine, right?
Katherine Middleton?
Or Kate?
Kate Middleton. Kate Middleton. Would it be Kate Middleton? Or what's this happen? So the title's got to be a hint. So Gary Middleton, who writes a ton of trivia stuff. Kate Middleton, she was not born in the spotlight, so she married into spotlight. She wouldn't have been well known until she married into royalty.
Yeah.
That to me fits a little bit better with the title.
Sure. That works for me, man. Let's go Kate Middleton.
All right, we're gonna lock in with Kate Middleton.
They have locked in with Kate Middleton. Jonathan and Wendy.
Can I just say Jonathan texted me a one-word text a minute ago as we were listening to their conversation, and it just said, sigh.
I mean,
Bing.
You guys took a long way around to get there. A long way around. Within the first 5 seconds or so, it's like, all right, it's Kate Middleton. It's got to be Kate Middleton. No doubt.
And we had to sit and listen to you slowly hone in, beef back and forth, and then...
The Duchess Katherine. Oh, my gosh. Oh, God.
It was Katherine, the Duchess of Cambridge. Kate Middleton is who we were looking for there. Your third and final question in round 4, a crunchy round. This guy was a biggie deal back in the 80s. What man set the single-season rushing record in the NFL back in the 80s with 2,105 yards in a single season?
Wendy, I haven't sent you the answer yet, but we can log in.
This is a sports question, and I think I'm... Okay. Yes, and that's where I was going.
Yeah, we're locked
and
in.
I even know the first name for this one, so yeah.
Yeah, we're locked in.
Okay.
This is one of those ones that I've been trying my best to keep track of some of the rushing stats, just, vague football fan and whatnot. I want to say, if it's a Big E deal, Eric Dickerson played in the 80s. I think he would have been probably one of the, highest up, if not still, for single season yards.
That's the first name I wrote down. So if that's your thought too, I like it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We're locking in Eric Dickerson.
And Wendy and Jonathan?
Wendy, how does it feel to inspire a question?
It's been my life's ambition.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, no, it's the Hoover answer made it really apparent what the theme was. And it was really frustrating because that was my first instinct from question 1, but I wasn't catching the real connection on the first question. And then when it all clicked, it's like...
I kept giving you,
right
this is all I can think of is people, trivia people. And you're like, no. I'm like, trivia people, it's all I got.
Yep. No, very frustrating. So if you've heard your last name or first name, but mostly last name in an answer... in this show, then you inspired Jeremy to write about you. We said Dickerson.
Well, you are both getting the points. You're both correct. And I guess the cat's out of the bag at this point. Yeah, all the answers thus far have been the last names of people in the Trivial Warfare Army. So
and that's how we're speeding up the second half of today's game.
That is true. Alrighty. I may not give you the categories anymore because that'll be a little too easy, I think.
Oh, no. We still need it.
All right.
At the end of round 4, the score is 110 to 96. Wendy and Jonathan maintain a lead.
Round 5 is called Dan is in the band and he has legs. Dan is in the band and he has legs.
New legs. Lieutenant Dan, you got legs.
Question number 1, Mo Trivia, Mo Problems. Mo Trivia, Mo Problems. Among the 7 wonders of the ancient world, which one would be located in modern-day Turkey and is farthest north?
You sure it would be the farthest north?
According to the latitude and longitude that I was looking at.
It just seems odd because I can think of one that would be north of there.
I will say this. They are very close according to the latitude and longitude that I had.
So we'll lock in.
Okay.
All right. Bing and James?
This one's going to hurt. So I've been to Turkey. I've been to Ephesus in Turkey. I know they talked about there's ruins of one of the 7 wonders there, but I couldn't tell you which one.
And I had initially listed out all listed out everything. I was like, it's not anything that's been in Egypt. Obviously, we're trying to debate between the Temple of Artemis and the Colossus of Rhodes. And I'm trying to remember where the hell Rhodes was in comparison. But I remember Ephesus, like you said, that's thinking back to my Latin classes in high school and whatnot. We had to study these, and I'm slight edge leaning towards the Temple of Artemis now that I'm thinking about it, because I think the Colossus was nearer water, but it didn't actually stride water like they sometimes portray it in some of the stuff. But
yeah, none of these sound like trivia names to me.
I know, that's the thing too.
Yeah, let's go with your gut instinct then. Let's go with Temple of Artemis.
All right,
Jonathan and Wendy, what do you guys have for me?
So, yeah, I thought for sure that Iran was farther north than Turkey, so Babylon, Hanging Gardens of Babylon would have been the most northern. But apparently that's not true because there's nobody's name in Hanging Gardens or Babylon. So we went with the only answer that had a person's name in it. We're not locking in on a person, but Rhodes is definitely a likely name for somebody. So we said the Colossus of Rhodes.
Well, the correct answer here, by the way, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon are actually in southern Iran. So even though some of Iran is north of Turkey, it's the Temple of Artemis, Maureen Temple. Mo Trivia, Mo Problems.
Yeah.
Is the correct answer. The statue of Zeus would be the second most northern, and the Colossus of Rhodes and Mausoleum of Halicarnassus would be the next two that are. Colossus of Rhodes is in Greece, but only one team getting points, making it an even closer game as we move on. Well done there, Temple of Artemis.
I thought for sure this was going to be a Stacy McPeak-based question with the Mo in there. That threw me off.
That was the only Mo I could think of.
Sorry.
I don't think he's sorry. Just saying.
I'm not. Question number 2, she can sure carry a tune. What singer, songwriter, actress was at the height of her fame in the 90s when she fronted an alt-rock band and earned a Golden Globe nomination for starring in a 1996 film? In 2004, she released her only solo album titled America's Sweetheart. Who is she? Yep. What singer, songwriter, actress was at the height of her fame in the 90s when she was the lead singer of an alt-rock band and earned a Golden Globe nomination for starring in a 1996 film? In 2004, she released her only solo album titled America's Sweetheart. Who is she?
And what's the category again?
She can sure carry a tune.
Oh, my brain sucks so bad. I should just be able to rattle off a list of people, and I can't. I'm so bad at this.
I think we're going to go ahead and lock in.
Oh, it's the first time anybody's locked in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to go with a TWA member, and I'm struggling with Carries. We have a Carrie Cobb, and I feel like there's at least one or two more Carries whose names are just eluding me right now, and it's very frustrating. I can't find a way to make Cobb work here. And so I'm trying to go with alt rockers. America's Sweetheart sounds familiar too, right? Makes me think of like Jessica Simpson, Mandy Moore, but neither of those would have been an alt rock. Your alt rock leads are people like Courtney Love. I was going to say like Liz Phair, or like, honestly, there weren't that Shirley Manson, Carrie Manson maybe. Shirley Manson would have been garbage.
But this person was in a movie, right?
Yeah, that's the hard part.
That's where I'm
Jennifer Love
stuck.
Hewitt is a person who was trying to be both a singer and an actress, but this doesn't sound right for her.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. I
Well, you're no worse than I am. We're gonna go with Cobb.
Cobb?
Yep.
Okay. All right. James and Bing, what did you lock in with?
We had actually a pretty similar discussion. We named a bunch of the same people you did. You were asking about Shirley Manson and Garbage and trying to figure out who these different singers may have been. I think early on in the discussion, we had mentioned Courtney Love as well, and I kept trying to talk myself into that answer. And then I remembered the movie question, and I want to say, wasn't she in the one with Andy Kaufman, like Man on the Moon? That's one of those ones I remember seeing as a kid because I liked him as a kid. So we eventually locked in with Courtney Love.
All right. Well, she can carry a tune or maybe a melody. It is, in fact, lead singer of Hole and star of The People vs. Larry Flint was her gold. I think she was in Man in the Moon, though, as well. People vs. Larry Flint was the film. It is Courtney Love. Shout out to Melody Courtney.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Sorry, Jonathan. You said that early in the discussion, and I didn't.
I mean,
I couldn't think of a movie.
I'll be honest. If I had thought, if he'd have said 90s for the year for America's Sweetheart, I would have been a lot stronger on Courtney Love. I didn't realize that was 2004. I thought that came out way earlier.
Yeah, I would have thought so, too. I was kind of surprised by that. Question number 3 in round number 5. She is a star, but she doesn't wear one because that would be cultural appropriation. Your question is, in 2017, what woman replaced Gisele Bündchen as the highest paid model in the world, according to Forbes?
What year?
2017. I'm not sure if she still holds that distinction.
I feel really good about that, Wendy. All right, we're going to lock in.
James and Bing?
Nothing is coming to mind right away. Replace Giselle.
Trying to think of Warfare members at this point.
What is Justin Verlander's wife? What's her name?
What is her name? Isn't that Hudson? Or no, am I thinking of?
Is that her? Is that Kate Hudson? I place Giselle. How about what is Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend or former girlfriend? She's Hebrew, so star of David. I think she was Israeli. Bar Raffaele?
Sure.
Bar Raffaele. I think she's Hebrew. I mean, that would go with kind of Star of David, but...
Yeah, I'm going to be no help on that, unfortunately.
I don't know. And Trivial Warfare members or trivia people, Bar Raffaele. I got nothing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else would be popular around this time, and as I said, I've had my head in so many other things at that time in my life as far as not focusing on pop culture. So
I don't think I'm going to be able to come up with anything better. Why don't we go Bar Raffaele?
Sure.
All right, they went Bar Raffaele and Jonathan and Wendy.
The highest paid model right now is Kendall Jenner.
And you were so close when you said Star of David, as in David Kendall. This question, along with the Herbert Hoover and Eric Dickerson question, were written very quickly at the very start of this broadcast when I realized that Wendy Dickerson, James Hoover, and originally David Kendall, who you replaced, Bing, were supposed to be the competitors. The answer is Kendall Jenner.
It's never going to get there.
Yeah. You were close. So after round 5, we had a brief lead change, but it just changed right back, I believe. 120 to 116, Jonathan and Wendy with a narrow lead.
That's a great game so far. Great game.
Yeah, this has been good.
All right. Joseph Smith right now is what's giving you the lead. All right, round 6 is called Never Forget. Your first first question. No more joshing. Time to get serious. Question number 1. In a memorable episode of Seinfeld, Jerry and George discover Elaine had written a script for what sitcom, which aired on a different network, and which the character of Kramer once appeared as a guest star, although not as Kramer. So the character of Kramer on Seinfeld actually had a role on this sitcom within the show Seinfeld.
I think we're going to lock in.
All right. Wendy and Jonathan, you can talk it out.
Wendy, I'm not a Seinfeld person at all. I can't
not
stand
either.
it, really. I don't like it.
I never watched it.
But it should be a show set in New York.
Okay.
And it would have to be somewhere in the 90s that it occurred. Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense for Kramer, the character, to appear.
And we're looking for the show title, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of things. I was about to say Frasier, but that doesn't fit New York. Mad About You is around that time. Friends would be at the end of that run. And trying to think of Josh's. And
right.
I also was ordering lunch while we were doing this because I'm going to be rushing. And so my brain is really not pulling any names right now. It could be a last name Josh, or it could be a first name Josh.
I'm just trying to go after the Josh angle because I don't know anything about Seinfeld.
Neither do I. Another channel. So Seinfeld, I think, was NBC.
The only other thing when he said no joshing, I mean, I do think it's Josh, but kidding came to mind, like no kidding, but I couldn't think of anything to do with kid or kidding.
And it's got to be something that's going to be a person's name, even though doesn't have to be a person's name in the show title. It could be an innocuous word that could also be a name, like empty nest, or it could be... I was thinking Full House. Maybe there's a Josh House, but I've never heard that name before.
Or Josh Fuller. Yeah, I don't know that either.
God, I have too many names in my head to remember any of them. It's awful. The feeling of not being able to pull them is awful, not having the names. I like the names.
I wish I had more either Seinfeld knowledge or more people's names, but I just am not coming up with anything, Jonathan.
Man, I don't know. And we're wasting time. We don't have much time. You want to just say Mad About You?
Yes,
sure.
That's fine.
All right, we're going to say Mad About You.
Sorry.
All right. And James and Bing.
Yeah, we were going back and trying to think back to just not NBC sitcoms, basically. I tried when I was in rotations my fourth year to watch a little bit of Seinfeld because my friends were super fans of it. So shout out to Jameson for the answer on this one, maybe if we're right. But yeah, I vaguely remember Candice Bergen being on an episode of Seinfeld early on, and I think that may have been from Murphy Brown. So we locked in with Murphy Brown.
Oh, God.
You wrote a Murphy Brown? She wrote a Murphy Brown. Brown. Elaine wrote a Murphy Brown, yes. All righty. The lead switches back.
Josh
with
Murphy.
2 questions to go. Yeah. All right.
I'm dying on the vine over here. All y'all with your last names.
Question number 2. From the coast of Maine to Yorba Linda, always in our thoughts. Here's your question. There are currently over 500 locations for what clothing retailer whose stores seek to evoke the beach? The first location for this chain opened in Ohio, but was named after a place in California.
You're going to get me in trouble with all the names that I don't pull. They'll be like, why doesn't he know my name?
Uh-oh. Okay, let's think about this.
This really shouldn't be that hard. I honestly, I think I've just gone brain dead. I can't think of my own name anymore, much less anybody else's. I feel so
That doesn't
bad.
bode well for the second taping.
I feel so bad.
I'm sorry, Jonathan, I'm not coming up with anything.
This is one of those times where if you ever think I'm cheating, this proves I'm not right here.
That's true. I had wanted to give bonus points for coming up with the theme, but I thought it was going to be unfair.
Yeah.
I thought, Jonathan, with your knowledge, you would come up with the theme much quicker.
But I'm terrible
And
at themes.
I was like, I'm not going to do that. And then, of course, James and Bing got it first, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have, but that's okay.
Technically, after the very first question, Bing texted me, Cheyenne Fletcher's a trivia person. I was like, okay.
And then we actually went off on a tangent and went to the
Yeah, our
wrong
tangent
angle.
got really weird for a while there. We're actually leaning towards, like, because you're like Fletcher Cox, Carson Wentz. Maybe it's Eagles players? You're a sports guy?
Yeah,
Like,
Tiki and Rondé Barber.
We're like, okay. Not
All right,
Scott.
we can lock in.
This is all James.
Yeah, we were going back and forth on a couple things. Real early, I was thinking about some people in the Army who haven't yet been listed. And one of the names that kind of popped in my head early on, I typed in, how about Chris Hollister? So I think we wanted to lock in maybe with Hollister. But
All right. Is that what you're locking in with then, or?
because I know that's a company that they do clothes. I can't say I own any of them, but I've seen stores.
Well, there you go. Jonathan and Wendy, what did you guys lock in with?
Yeah, Wendy had an epiphany of Hurley for a second, and then it was hitting me at the same time. So Josh Murphy is a warhead that passed away a while back, actually, maybe 4 years ago. And that's when I said his name, I pictured his face, and then that's followed up with a question about another warhead that has since passed away, Linda Hollister Surf Shop. And so, yeah, we locked in with Hollister.
Yeah.
The store we're looking for here is Hollister. Yes. Jonathan, would you like to lock in with your answer to the next question before I ask it?
I swear to God, my brain is so fried that I cannot.
All right. Well,
I messaged you something, Jonathan.
here is the final question of the 6th round. Final question before the gauntlet. This question would have been better if he was a lefty. What right-handed hitting outfielder who once hit 4 home runs in a single baseball game was once traded for Ken Griffey Jr.?
We can lock in.
Okay. James and Bing, you can talk this one out if you need to.
Outfielder hit 4 home runs in the same game. There are very few people who have hit 4 home runs in the same game, and I don't know that I can pull many or any of these. James, you have any names?
No, unfortunately, baseball's not my sport.
All right, I'm going to pull a few names here, and you tell me if any of these make sense from trivia people or not. I feel like Sean Green did it once. He was for the Dodgers. Lefty Green, Sean left. I feel like Bob Horner may have done it for the Braves, but that was a long time ago. And I don't know that he and Griffey Jr. would have played around the same time. Why would Sean Green have been traded for Ken Griffey? Are these warfare people? Sean Green. 4 home runs. Who else would have hit 4 home runs? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I would throw out stuff just like, did A-Rod ever do it? I mean,
maybe. Was he traded much? He just went. Pujols, A-Rod, who are some home run hitters? Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. Did Sosa hit 4 home runs? Sammy Sosa? I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to be able to pull anything. I mean, Sean Green is the only name I can come up that hit 4 home runs and could be plausible last names for people we know.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pull it otherwise. So, whatever you like.
We're going to give this one to Jonathan. It looks like we're just going to lock in with Sean Green.
All right, Jonathan and Wendy.
So the player that you're looking for shares a name with Mike Cameron. We locked in with Cameron, also known as Lefty.
Yep. Mike Cameron is the player. Oddly enough, your answer is Sean Green. Sean Green and Mike Cameron both hit 4 home runs in the same game within like a week of each other, which is the closest together it's ever happened. Wow. So you were pretty close, but Mike Cameron, and rest in peace, Lefty. Mike Cameron, the baseball player, a righty, and he replaced Ken Griffey Jr. in center field for the Mariners. That's who the Reds traded to get him. But with that question, we have a lead change again. Jonathan and Wendy, 140, and Bing and James, 136. It could not be closer going in to the gauntlet. By the way, you will also notice that round by round, we started with 3 generals. We then had 3 colonels.
Oh, my God.
We then had 3 lieutenant colonels.
Wow.
We then had 3 captains. We then had 3 lieutenants.
Wow.
And then we had the 3 people on the in memoriam section of the Trivial Warfare Army. And all of the round titles were allusions to their ranks.
Oh.
And
my. Well done.
I hate you so much.
Captain Crunch.
Crunchy. Oh, I just got it.
Yes. So there was a method to everything.
Puzzles within puzzles,
yes.
Jeremy.
Yes, exactly.
Can't stand you. What was the score again?
140 to 136 heading into the gauntlet. The gauntlet is a little bit of a tweak. It will tie in with the rest of the game. We'll see how that helps you or not. So the gauntlet category is a little bit of a tweak.
Our wager is locked in.
Our wager is also locked in.
Here is your first question in the gauntlet, a little bit of a tweak.
Okay.
Elizabeth Tower is the official name of the nearly 100-meter tall structure that is often referred to by what alliterative name?
We can lock in.
We're locked in too.
Question number 2. Offerus, or Reprobus, might have been the name by which this man was originally known. There are many accounts of his life, but one of the best-known stories is of a time he helped a young child across a river and protected him along the way. As such, this man has been canonized by what name?
Okay, I think we can lock in.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
Cool. Let's do it. Our answer is locked in.
All right.
Okay. Question 3. Legendary football coach Knute Rockne tragically passed away in 1931 when a commercial airliner he was flying crashed in a field in Kansas. What airline, which had just incorporated the year prior, was Rockne flying?
What was the year on that?
1931.
I think we can lock in.
James and Bing?
Our answer is locked in.
Okay. Question 1. Elizabeth Tower, the official name of the nearly 100-meter tall structure that is often referred to by what alliterative name? Jonathan and Wendy, what did you guys lock in with?
This is all Wendy. In fact, the whole gauntlet's Wendy. She's like, boom, boom, boom.
Wendy, what was
Jonathan agreed with it. Big Ben.
All right. And James and Bing, what did you guys lock in with?
We locked in with Big Ben. We know that the tower is not called Big Ben. It's commonly referred to as that. So that's what we locked in.
All right. Offerus and Reprobus might have been the name by which this man was originally known. There are many accounts of his life, but one of the best-known stories is of a time when he helped a young child across a river and protected him along the way. As such, this man has been canonized by what name? James and Bing, what did you guys lock in with here?
We locked in with St. Christopher.
And Jonathan and Wendy.
We also locked in with St. Christopher.
And question number 3, legendary football coach Knute Rockne tragically passed away in 1931 when a commercial airliner he was flying crashed in a field in Kansas. What airline, which had just incorporated the year prior, was he flying? Jonathan and Wendy, we'll go back to you guys first. What'd you lock in with?
Well, we locked in with TWA.
And James and Bing, what did you guys lock in with?
Shout out to the Army, man. TWA.
TWA. Well, I love to keep people in suspense. It's going to come down to some wagers, folks, because we are looking for, in fact, Elizabeth Tower, was recently christened. Didn't have a name before, but it is Big Ben. That's where Big Ben is. Offerus and Reprobus might have been his original names, but we know him better as the patron saint of travelers, St. Christopher. And with everything that we've had today, Big Ben, St. Christopher, Newt Rockney was in fact flying on TWA. So both teams getting all of the gauntlet right. Let's find out what our wagers were. Big and James, what did you guys put out there?
So we figured the logical wagers for Jonathan would be either 3 to be conservative or going out for the lockout. So we figured it probably wouldn't matter too much what we wagered. So we went with something oddball, and we went with lucky number 13. So 13 was our wager.
All right, 13. You're going to go up to 149. So did Jonathan and Wendy follow the mantra of champions bet 0, or did they have the guts to go all in on this?
So this was a hard decision, and we weren't really sure where you were going to go with the gauntlet, being that you had done the theme that you had done. I was really worried about you possibly just going off on your own and not doing any kind of theme, which would lead to significantly harder questions. Unfortunately, you did not do that, and you stuck with the general area, which made the question significantly easier, which was bad for us because we wagered 0.
Oh, and
Wow.
the score of 149 to 140.
Hey, hell of a game.
Oh, my
James,
God.
you are the
This was
champion
a great
of this
game.
very Trivial Warfare Army themed episode of Trivial Warfare.
Oh, my
This was
gosh.
exciting. Yeah, great
Gave it
game, Jonathan,
away.
Wendy. I mean,
This was awesome, Jeremy.
Oh, when the first question came out, I was like, oh, oh, God. No.
So by the way, there is a former guy that was in charge of the editorial department at the New York Times whose name is Jonathan Oakes. I almost asked about him instead of TWA at the end. And I was like, nobody's ever heard of this guy, but maybe they'll get it just because.
Well, it's like we messaged back and forth. We're like, what airline has Carmela Smith or Jonathan Oakes in the title? Like, probably neither of those, unless they're moving on up in this world. Like, okay, like, hey, this is our new airline, Fly Oaks Airline.
Carmela got the halftime dedicated to her. So my apologies to you, Jonathan, because I did not technically include you.
Oh, God, I can live without that. Thank you. Great game, everybody. Before we go, we like to give everybody a chance to do shout-outs and promote causes that they care about. Jeremy, we'll start with you.
Just be kind to each other. Enjoy life. Enjoy the outdoors. Be well, people. Be happy. Take care.
All right. James, your turn.
Yeah, to echo Jeremy, I was just going to say, as an eye doctor, obviously, I support getting your eyes checked annually. It's a great thing. Make sure your eye health is important as your primary sense. If you lose those, it's a lot more difficult in life. If you are able to donate older glasses, I know Lions clubs around the country will be happy to take those to allow for people to, use them or, as I said, bring them to, mission trips and other such places. So by all means, donate that. And just to echo Jeremy one more time, as I always tell my patients, especially the pediatric patients, find whatever makes you happy in life. You get one ride, so make sure it's a fun and enjoyable one. At the end of the day, if that means helping other people along the way or just having a good time, by all means, please do that. It's a short ride, but if we can have fun doing it and be good towards one another, it's a much better experience than the alternative.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you. Bing, you're up.
Sure. So many of you know I'm a volunteer zookeeper aide at the Houston Zoo. So I want to give a shout out to the Houston Zoo and encourage people to support their local zoo. The zoos do a lot for conservation efforts around the world and to help preserve the species that may be becoming more endangered throughout the world. And going to the zoo is a great way to spend time with your family in a socially distanced way. So I definitely want to give a shout out to the Houston Zoo. If you're in the Houston area, come by and visit. Thank you.
And Wendy, let's wrap up with you.
First, thanks a lot for having me on. This is always so much fun, and it was really nice to meet James and Bing. I just want to plug something that maybe people hear about a lot but haven't really thought about donating to, and that's Ronald McDonald House. The one in Columbus is kind of attached to the Nationwide Children's Hospital, and it just for families, having a place where they can go and stay without having to worry about the cost or where their meals are coming from or how they're going to get to and from the hospital when they have a sick child. The Ronald McDonald Houses really do just great work with that. And so I would encourage you, if there's one in a city where you are, they always need volunteers. They need volunteers. They're all staffed by volunteers. The food's made by volunteers, driving's by volunteers. And it's just giving somebody a hand when they're quite possibly having one of the worst times of their lives. It's just very important. Just another way to take care of people.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, and that's going to wrap us up. So, for Bing, for James, for Wendy, and for Jeremy, my name's Jonathan. This has been episode number 324 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.